I have in my hand the Wall Street Journal story. Israel says it killed top Hezbollah commander in Beirut. I thought we did that a long time ago. Who is he and how important is this?
Tabatabai is the second in command of Hezbollah after the leaders of Hezbollah were eliminated during the war, including Hassan Nasrallah, the head of Hezbollah. This is the gentleman who's in charge of rebuilding Hezbollah and has been assiduously rebuilding Hezbollah, particularly in the south, in flagrant violation of the ceasefire. And Israel has been interdicting many of these attempts, but at some point you got to get to the head of the snake. And the head of the snake, what can we do, is sitting in Beirut. And I think it's very good that the Trump administration has been solidly behind us on this. We've had some friction points around Gaza recently. Meetings between the president and Mamdani didn't go over particularly well in Jerusalem. But this was very, very important. This is strategic. This is substantive. This is not performative. And this goes to the core of our strategic relationship with the United States. We're braced for a reprisal. I find it hard to believe that Hezbollah will take this, sitting down entirely. But with Hezbollah, they may not want to take us on frontally, but they may try to do as they have in the past, conduct a terrorist attack against some Jewish community around the world.
Now, I was under the impression that while the Lebanese army had not done the disarmament of the Hezbollah militia, that the Hezbollah militia was in tatters, that they were not really reassembling as a formidable force. Am I wrong about that?
Oh, no, they were hit hard. I wouldn't call them in tatters. They probably maintain upwards of 60% of their missile capacity, tens of thousands of fighters, guerrillas, terrorists under arms. And what really was deathly hurt was their long-range missile capacity, their leadership, and their infrastructure in South Lebanon. And we're talking about miles and miles of underground tunnels, which are in many ways more impregnable than the tunnels in Gaza. The tunnels in Gaza are dug in sand. The tunnels in Lebanon here were dug in rock, solid rock, and they're difficult to detect and even more difficult to blow up.
So when that war was going on, it concluded about a year ago, what percentage of objectives did the IDF accomplish?
I think we may have killed as many as 30,000 terrorists. We probably have knocked out about 40 to 50% of their missile capacity. But more significantly, as I said earlier, was eliminating their leadership, their top leadership, and eliminating their infrastructure, the military infrastructure in South Lebanon. You're talking about vast amounts of armaments, missiles, rockets, emplacements. Much of that was destroyed. Now, it was incumbent as part of the ceasefire on the Lebanese government then to disarm Hezbollah, particularly in the south. And, I don't want to fault the Lebanese government too much. It's not a strong government, and the army is very weak, have not been able to fulfill those conditions under the ceasefire. And I think that's one of the reasons that the Trump administration is standing so steadfastly beside us on this, because they understand that there was a commitment made by the Lebanese that they cannot fulfill. I don't think there's a matter of willpower here. They just cannot do it. Hezbollah before last year was was deemed the most powerful non-government military force in the world, not just in the Middle East, but in the world. And what's the Lebanese army up against that?
Well, that leads me to the question: who actually keeps the peace in Beirut? There's no monopoly on arms. There are lots of arms everywhere. But is there a police force that actually, gives out speeding tickets and arrests drunk drivers and things like that?
Yeah, probably. They probably give out speeding tickets. I don't think they pays them. You're not dealing with a truly sovereign state here, alas. And in the past, Lebanon has been Hobbesian, certainly during the Civil War in the 1970s and more recently. You remember several years ago, there was a massive blast in Beirut Harbor.
Yes.
That was attributed to mounds of huge warehouses of fertilizer. Who was using that fertilizer? I think Hezbollah's in the agricultural business, and they use it for bombs.
Yeah.
They killed hundreds and hundreds of people, wounded thousands of people. Was there ever an investigation of it? No. There's no accountability there. The banking system is, I don't know what it runs on, but it certainly doesn't run according to law. So it's a very different country. We wish it was different. We wish it was a more stable country, a more centralized country. It's not there yet, but certainly the sine qua non of becoming that type of country is getting rid of Hezbollah, certainly disarming Hezbollah. Now, another great blow to Hezbollah was the fact that Syria is no longer an ally of Iran, so that overland route of supply to Lebanon has been cut off, and much of the supply of not just armaments, but also money flowing in has been cut off. And Israel targeted a great number of banks that were controlled by Iran and Syria in Beirut during the war. So that also is a blow to Hezbollah, but they remain a formidable force. We can't afford to ignore them.
Is there any leader or movement that is emerging as an alternative for a strong Lebanon, one free of the grip of Hezbollah? Does that exist?
I think President Aoun's heart is in the right place. I think that if the West, particularly the United States, wants the Lebanese army to be a formidable force, they're going to invest much more heavily. I've heard about that the pay for a Lebanese soldier is pretty much imaginary. It's pretty pro forma, and that's just that can't be enough. You have to actually incentivize these people to take up arms, and it has to be a multi-ethnic group. You can't have a Sunni army facing off Shiites in Hezbollah. There has to be Shiites, Sunnis, Druze, Christians all together in a national army, and that is not easily done, by the way. But that is the goal.
We're not going to do that. Does any European power like France have the standing to assist them in rebuilding Lebanon? Because right now it just seems like chaos with the decapitated Hezbollah.
Yeah, I hate to sound cynical, but I'm not sure France has the ability to rebuild France.
Huh. I think you're right. I think, unfortunately, so is there anything to turn to, or do we just let it meander on? We have a minute, Mike. Does it just meander on?
The minute is this. The minute is this. Listen, we be strong. We'll be strong. We'll stand by it. Actually, the Lebanon will condemn us every day. The Lebanese government knows that in many ways we are doing their work for them. We're helping to disband Hezbollah. We're helping to disarm them. They cannot say that publicly. But behind the scenes, I'm sure that's what they're thinking. And I think that's what the Trump administration is thinking. We're doing, I don't want to say we're doing God's work, but we're certainly doing a very important job in Lebanon right now.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.